share everything because it was a full day event and there were breakout sessions. You know, there was a VIP luncheon, there was a yacht party, there was recognition, there was a lot of breakfasts and lunches and dinners all throughout the hotel and around the venue of some great mastermind sessions of people just getting together. There was private team meetings. It was a super great event. And shout out to Vanessa for putting all of that together. She's a multitasking, multi-talented woman because she does a whole lot, and she was still able to put on a full-fledged event. That was a huge success. And also thank you to Miss Linda Tyler, if she's on here. She was the host and MC of our event, and she did a super great job. She was also on the yacht party for being the top female trader, and she was also the MC and host of the event. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to kick off showing the next version of the alert software, because that's the most important thing that I have to share. So I'm going to jump right into that. And just so you know, this is more than just another version. This is actually it's a completely different engine. It's something that is a lot more in line with what we've been working on for 2 years. And for our team, our development team, our staff, our beta testers, our traders, this here signifies our official launch. September 1st, of course, it was the official opening of 8 Minute Trader, and all of the logistics went live on being able to enroll and get your account set up, get your initial software set up. There was a lot of, again, just logistics that had to be managed. But we were looking forward to this next phase of launch where we get to focus a lot more on the trading, not just on, you know, a corporate launch and a product launch and getting everything in order and getting people situated. So we're very excited about this next stage of the project. And the new software, we're going to be referring to it as the Stacked software. Okay, Stacked software. STACT. So Stacked, it actually is perfectly in alignment with what the software does because it stacks trades on top of one another, right? You could stack up a bunch of alerts. It's a hyper accelerated alert system. And a little backstory here for those of you that are interested in design, you can see this icon right here is a hexagon. Okay, does anyone know how many points a hexagon has? Let me know in the chat if you could see how many points does a hexagon have? 6, 10, 6, 7, 6. All right, well, I'm gonna make it easy for you. It's this shape right in front of you. It's cut because of the arrow, but a hexagon has 6 points, and there's a big purpose for that. That's because there are 6 new alerts being triggered by the alert software. So we're going from 1 style of alerts to 6 styles of alerts. Really, really crazy. And then you also see there's an orange arrow inside the icon because the arrows now have a much greater role in the new software. And I'm going to show you exactly what that means. And the word stacked, as you can see right here on your screen, it stands for start trend and continue trend. Real simple, right? It's all about trading with the trend. People know in trading, the trend is your friend. And what this alert software does now is it shows you the beginning of new trends, the earliest stages when a new trend is forming. It shows you confirmations of when a trend is underway. And it also shows you the end of certain trends when a trend starts to become exhausted. So it is really intuitive. And this is something now that you can build a relationship with to start learning when to get into a trade. Also, the most important part, and I'm going to show you visually how this is possible, you'll have a better idea on how long to hold on to a trade. That was a key goal for us because after all of the testing that we've done, after all of the thousands of people that have tested the software, a lot of the feedback we got when we did reviews of people's trades, of their winning trades and losing trades, we noticed that the biggest area that has the room for improvement with our community is helping people hold on to their trades for a longer period of time. So we know that when you're trading, if you're in profit, especially if you're a new trader, it's emotionally very exciting. It can also be nerve-wracking. If you go into profit, let's say $20, $30, $40, and then you start seeing some opposite color engulfing candles coming against you, and that $40 comes back down to $30, comes down to $24, right? There's a high level of temptation to close that position out. But with the new alert software, you're going to see if that's a premature decision or not. Because if you learn how to let some of those trades run, you can dramatically improve your overall trading results. So we are saying that this is manual trading absolutely evolved. A lot of manual traders are going to love this alert software. Let me go ahead and jump into the facts behind the software. How do we know that it's going to take your trading to the next level? Simple. The system is both dynamic and progressive. So the current system is dynamic. This actually is and we're going to get into the details. I'm going to show you how it's a quad engine processor. The current system is a single engine processor, right? So it's actually 4 times more powerful. And there are now many different types of alerts that are going to be coming out at different points of market movements, such as pullbacks. If any of you know what a pullback is, a pullback is when the market is trending in a certain direction. Let's say it's trending bullish, it's going up. But then sometimes even during a bullish trend, there's great opportunities within that trend for a sell if you can get a key entry at the right point. So this software is designed to identify those pullbacks. We also have reversals. That's when that bullish trend has confirmation that it's changing and that it's going into a bearish trend or vice versa. We also are going to identify continuations. So what is a continuation? A continuation is when you're in a trend, there's already been a pullback, but then price will start heading back towards the direction of the trend. That's called a continuation. And then there's large pullback continuations, right? So you can see it's a really powerful engine. I'm going to show you a graph, and then I'm also going to show you some live charts so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about, so that it's really simple to understand. Now, the reason we say that it's progressive, this is something that's very new. There is no progressive engine in the current version. The new version has a progressive engine. That's because it allows you as a trader to know where each individual alert falls within the current trend. So we're trying to be as transparent as possible. When you get an alert, the alert's going to have its own name and its own color. And based on the label, like the actual name of the alert, and based on the color, you'll know what the software is attempting to predict. So you'll know right away, based on price action, based on what you're seeing after that alert comes out, if in fact that is the direction that the market's going to be moving in. Now understand this, the market changes all the time. No one knows the future of the market. No one knows the color of the next candle. Nobody. Doesn't matter how intuitive a system is. It's impossible because there's too many variables. There's too many, remember the candles are going up and down because of a whole bunch of different banks and institutions and financial firms and hedge funds that are all buying and selling different contracts, right? Millions of people are making decisions, and those decisions are impacting the prices on the chart. It's impossible to know what all of those decisions are. And so in trading, it's about probabilities. The good news is that the market does move based on human emotion. Human emotions have patterns. So it's our job as traders to understand the human emotion dynamic, to understand when it's a good deal to buy, when it's a good deal to short the market and press sell. Now, these different labels, I'm going to show you what they look like, but the different labels are going to be called counter trend alerts. And then we have reversal alerts and continuation alerts, right? So there's 3 different labels, and there's 6 different types of colors within those labels. So again, you'll know exactly what the software is trying to predict so that you can work with it. And you'll know how strong the trend is that you're trading. Now, what makes this so cutting edge? I'll be honest with you, I had Mr. Ryan Dr. Check's help at the event explaining some of the computations behind the software. Just understand this, that the current version has a computing engine that is 9 to the 9th power within variables. So that's still many, many, many millions of opportunities to produce alerts with the current version that you have. Now, again, my wife, Vanessa, Coach Mo, Ryan, myself, we crush it with the current version of the software. And so we have a high level of confidence with the 9 different computations that are running to the 9th power, right? It helps us trade well. But it's all relative, right? To say this is a great software, this is an easy to use software, that's relative, because if someone doesn't have nearly as much as experience as us, then obviously their results are going to vary. So this is an actual screenshot of the current software, right? You've seen many, many days where this is what your charts look like. You could see that this was November 4th. You can see here that there are several different alerts on the screen. Here's my question. If you can answer me in the chat. If we were to start from the left side of the screen, okay, starting on this side of the chart and moving over to this side of the chart, is the market going up or down, right? Of course, it goes up and down, but overall, would you say that this chart is showing a bullish trend or a bearish trend with what you see here on your screen? Bullish, definitely going up. Correct. Exactly. You guys got it. So now it's interesting, right? That's why there's only buy alerts. So the current version of the software, it does align more with a continuation of trend alert system. And if you zoom out at any time of day, you'll notice that you always get alerts in the direction of the trend. Even if the accuracy of the actual entry candle is not perfect timing, overall, the alerts are always being triggered with the current trend, whether you're in a buy trend or a sell trend, right? But we wanted to show you, this is what the current version that you already have in your hands, this is what it looks like, right? You're going to have winners and losers, just like in the new version, you'll have winners and losers, but the placement of alerts are going to look totally different. So as already mentioned, we have now upgraded the software. It's a complete evolution. It's now going from a single engine to a quad processing methodology by adding 3 more engines. So the new software that's coming out, the new stacked alert software that's replacing the post 8 alert software, which by the way, you'll still have access to the current version, no problem, because those are templates. Those templates have different engines inside of them, right? So you can still have access to those. Of course, we're going to be focusing heavily on the stacked alert system, just like, when iPhone comes out with the iPhone 14, you may still have the 13, right? Now, Apple may not focus a whole lot on their marketing and training on the 13 because that's a previous version, but you can still have access to the 13, right? So it's the same thing. We'll always make sure you have access as long as those engines are still being supported by our servers, which they are. But we're going to be focusing and updating people primarily on the new stacked version of the software. The trading methodologies behind each software is totally different. With the 4 engines now, we have 9 computations to the 9th power multiplied by 4. That's over 1.5 billion possibilities to trigger alerts. And that's a real number. This is not hyperbole. This is not some exaggerated number. This is literally how many computations are running behind the scenes to trigger an alert. That's how sophisticated the financial markets are, especially in the space we're in, right? We're in a $7 trillion market space there, and every day is totally different. We need a powerful engine to calculate all of that. This is an actual screenshot of the new version of the software. So what I want you to pay attention to is we're in a similar predicament, okay? Starting from the left side, going to the right side. Is the market going up or down? Let me know in the chat. What kind of trend are we looking at on this chart here? Correct. All of you that are answering in the chat, exactly. It's still a bullish trend. But there's two key differences here. Number one, where the buy alerts are being placed, you'll notice they're in a slightly different location than the previous chart. And that's because we worked really hard on allowing for greater breathing room before continuation alerts are triggered, right? And that's really difficult. There are so many calculations that you have to confirm before knowing your timing and to be more accurate on your timing. But we're confident that we can teach people to hold on to their trades longer and to give them a more optimal entry point. You see, the current version of the software has a very tight metric on its continuation alert. And that's because most people right now that have their hands on it, they close their trades quickly. And it's really simple. I mean, you know this if you've used the software. It's very easy to pick up a quick 50 pips, 100 pips, 200 pips, you know, especially on the indices market, no problem, right? The new version, we're actually putting it out in hopes that people can get way bigger moves and be able to hold on, have the emotional fortitude, as Dr. Luis Ariaza says, to hold on to their trades and get 500 pips, 1,000 pips, 2,000 pips. So we will still have continuation alerts, but you'll see that they're going to be coming in after larger pullbacks within a trend, which is a more optimal entry point. And then even though we're in a bullish trend, you're seeing some sell alerts pop up, right? And this is a live screenshot. So if you would have pretty much just taken every alert, it would have been really hard to lose money, honestly. So very exciting. I'm going to show you some more live shots here shortly. Now, if you're a technical person and you really want to understand the key difference so that you can explain to people what's the difference between the version that is out right now and the new version coming, the difference is that the current version is synchronous and the new version is asynchronous. So what does that mean? Okay, so when you execute something synchronously, this is it's funny because my business partner Ryan Dr. he built some really powerful stuff with our developers and programmers, and again he explained this at the event live. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing the word correctly, but when you execute something synchronously or synchronously, you wait for it to finish. I do understand what it does, though. You wait for it to finish before moving on to another task, right? So in the world of software, you either have a synchronous software or an asynchronous software, right? So if it's synchronous, that's the current version that you have. It has to finish one computation and execution before it can move on to the next, right? So it does one thing at a time. But when something is asynchronous or when it's executing asynchronously, it can move on to another task before it finishes the current one, right? So there's a lot of things happening at once. Now, let me explain something. I'm going to put you in my shoes, okay, or in our shoes of our development team. We have a trading strategy that is proven. Now, whenever you're developing software, the challenge is what tools, what metrics, what calculations are available to you, let's say within MT4, to where you can blend your trading strategy with the tools that are available within MT4. Those are two different things, right? Just because you have a good trading strategy doesn't mean that it's just easy to just turn that into some software, to just automate it, because you're limited, right? When you're manually trading, it's very subjective. There's lots of real-time interpretations happening on the chart. And you may not always have certain tools or measurements available to you to calculate those subjective interpretations in real time. So that was one big challenge, was taking our trading strategy and being as thorough as possible in putting it on MT4. And here's what happened. This is why we were not talking about this version for a while. We've been working on it for a long time. Here's what was going on. With the 4 engines behind the software, with over 1.5 billion calculations running simultaneously, if we put this software on one chart, literally one, it would freeze MT4. MT4's servers couldn't handle it. Even with a VPS, even with super fast internet speed, with very fast latency between the broker servers and our servers, we test all of this. It would freeze on one chart because it's so much power. And we didn't know how long it would take to overcome that. And thank God, it's like, I feel like in life, when you really want to get something done, it's like in the final moment, miracles happen. And right before the Miami event, there was a huge breakthrough. I got a very exciting phone call from Mr. Ryan Dr. with great news, where there was just basically some breakthroughs on the development side on how they could work around some of the limitations within MT4 servers. We loaded up the new files, and I took the current software and I loaded it onto 12 separate charts, which is more than what you need. And it was blazing fast. And we were so happy. And that's what allowed us to say, okay, great, at this Miami event, we'll be able to announce the next version already because it's already right around the corner. We'll be able to have it deployed really soon. And we didn't even know if that was going to be the case. A couple of weeks before the Miami event, we didn't know if we would be able to even talk about this yet. Obviously, we don't want to talk about it too soon. But again, we're right around the corner. So let's look at a chart. Okay, let's look at a chart. And I'm going to show you right here. I'm going to show you how these different alerts work. And then we're going to follow along on an actual chart that looks like the movement of price. So these are the 6 types of alerts now that you're going to see. So the first alert is the color yellow. And it is going to be a sell :CT. Okay, sell :CT. The CT stands for counter trend. And that is a low to medium strength alert. I'm going to explain why. And that's why it's the color yellow, because does anyone know, hey, if you're driving on the road or in general, what does the color yellow typically mean? When you see the color yellow, what does the color yellow stand for? Exactly. Jeff, you got it. Linda, correct. Yes, you guys are getting it. Caution, right? So you use caution when you're getting these alerts here. Counter trend trades are high probability optimal entry points that are going against the trend. So those are those sell alerts that you saw on the previous chart that I was showing you, the blue ones, right? They're going to actually be yellow because the blue was just being used for our own testing so that we can make a distinction between the current alerts and the new alerts. But they're going to be the color yellow. And they're very powerful alerts, and I'll show you why. But you want to use caution whenever you're taking a counter trend trade because, again, you are going against the trend. That could be dangerous. It could also be highly rewarding. The next type of sell alert is going to be the color red, and then it's going to say sell :R. The R stands for reversal. Okay, reversal. This is a medium to high strength. So when you see the color red in the world of trading, what does that mean? Why would we use the color red to show that alert? Let me know in the chat. When it comes to trading. Down, correct. The professor, you got it. Bear, yes, Mark, exactly. Sell, correct. Down, short, bearish, correct. So the word sell :R in the color red, that's going to be a medium to high strength alert. That's why it's a bright red. And that's going to be confirmation where there's a lot of structure and price action confirmations on currently happening on that instrument that the market can be reversing direction. Now, let me ask you this: if in the color wheel, if you combine the colors red with yellow, what color do you get? If you mix red with yellow, correct. Orange. Most of you are saying orange. That is correct. Right? So we have an orange alert, which is a medium strength, right? So we have a low to medium, which is the yellow. Then we have medium to high, which is red. And then if you combine those, you get orange. Okay, and you're going to see an orange sell :C. The C here stands for continuation. That's a continuation of trend alert. And it's the color of orange. You should still use caution. And that's telling you that there's a high probability move coming up where price can move in the direction of the current trend. And then, of course, anything that you could say for shorting the market can be applied to going long or on buy trades. Okay, so the counter trend alerts on the buy side will also be yellow because you want to use caution there. The strong reversal alerts on the buy side are going to be a bright green. And then if you combine green and yellow, does anyone know if you were to mix the colors green and yellow, what color do you come out with if you mix green and yellow? Correct. Yellow, green. Yes, exactly. Right. Really simple. Green and yellow makes yellow, green. So the yellow, green color is a continuation buy alert. Okay. And that means that it's trading with the trend. And so there's a high probability set up for price to continue in the direction of the trend. Now, here's what's important. Let's move into an actual chart. And this is where it's all going to click. Okay. This is where, when we were showing this at the event, this is when the crowd went, ah, now I get it. All right. So starting off here. Okay. Starting off, this is a bullish channel. That's what we're seeing here on the left side of this chart. So price is going up. You have a high probability sell. But because we're in a bullish trend, that's a counter trend alert, right? That's why you see sell colon CT. So there's a nice pullback here. There's opportunity to make profit. Price starts to get rejected from the pullback. It starts to move back towards the direction of the trend. Software identifies an entry to have a continuation alert. Now, here's where it gets really exciting. You get a continuation alert, right? So you take a buy. Here's the question. If this alert is accurate, how long should you hold on to that buy for? Well, remember, it's saying that it's a continuation of trend. In order for a continuation of trend to be correct, it needs to make a new high beyond the previous high because it's a continuation. That means the trend's going to continue, right? So when you're looking at your chart, you'll see what the previous high was, right? So the software is saying, hey, we're going further, right? You're getting in when you're still under the last high, right? So it's a very optimal entry point, and then you'll know that you can hold on to that trade longer if you see it working out in your favor, right? So price moves back up, starts to get exhausted. There's confirmations of rejections here at this new high point. Software identifies another sell alert, counter trend, because we're still in a bullish trend. Opportunity for a nice pullback. You can make some profits here going down. Okay, if we continue to have a rejection without dropping lower and we remain inside of the bull trend and price starts to head back towards the direction of the trend, software can trigger another continuation alert. And you're looking at that going, okay, how high can we go? Well, if this alert was perfect, then obviously we can go even higher. But look, that's not what happened, right? Eventually your continuation alerts will become exhausted, right? So if you get 3, 4, 5 continuation alerts, you know that it's only a matter of time before that bullish trend is going to get exhausted, right? So you start to use caution the more continuation alerts you get. Price goes back up after this continuation alert. It fails to make a new high. Price gets rejected and starts to head down, and the software identifies a sell :R alert, which is a reversal alert, right? So how long would I want to hold on to this trade for? Well, if this alert is accurate, then we know that if we're truly going into a reversal, we should actually make a new low beyond the previous low. Since we failed to make a new high in the direction of that trend, we could make a reversal and we could ride that sell all the way down until the bears start to let off the gas pedal. We start to see a nice pullback. You may have some latecomer bulls that try to come in to keep the market bullish. What do we get? A counter trend buy. Why is it a counter trend now? Because after all of the recent price action, what are we in? We are in a bearish channel. Okay, so you get that nice strong sell alert right there. Then you're getting a counter trend buy alert when price starts to find some support. Now, if that support is short-lived and the software identifies an entry point for a continuation of this new bear channel, it will trigger a sell :C, right? An orange alert, sell continuation, and we're going to head back down. How far are we going to go down? Well, if it's truly a continuation alert and it's accurate, we know that we're going to go past this previous low and we're going to go make a new low, right? This isn't a perfect world, right? But I'm going to show you some live screenshots. I mean, they're not even screenshots. I'm just going to go to my charts and show you where the alerts came in today because I let the software run all day. So you'll be able to see where these alerts are actually coming in real time. So we get a nice counter trend alert here. This time, price makes a strong move upwards, surpassing the previous high, right? Sometimes it could go to an equal high, right? This is when markets start to reverse. These are the early stages of reversals. That's where you start seeing patterns like the inverse head and shoulders. Price runs up, but the software is still looking for a continuation of trend because it's all about sticking with the trend, right? We don't want to get you into a trade that's on the opposite side of the trend. And so it's looking for one more last ditch effort in hopes of making a new low with a continuation alert. Comes down, price fails to make a new low, gets rejected, starts to find more support. Now you get a reversal alert, but on the buy side, that's why it's the color green. So you get a buy reversal alert saying, hey, baby, we got high probability that we're moving up, right? How high are we going to move up, though? Well, if it's truly a reversal, it should be very easy to make a new high. We're looking at this new high point here. We're going to go past that up to here until the bulls start to let off the gas pedal and the bears start to come back in to try to bring bearish pressure, right? Until we get a sell counter trend alert. So counter trend, we're going against the trend. Why are we going against the trend? Because now we are in a bullish trend, right? Prices making new highs, both on the upside and on the downside, right? Higher highs and higher lows. So you could see here that after the counter trend trade comes in, once we find more support, the software can identify an ideal entry point to continue in that bullish direction, right? Isn't that so cool? This was a huge highlight of ours where we realized that if we add the colors, we can identify the strength from yellow, red, and orange, and then yellow, green, and yellow, green. And then by labeling it with an actual label telling you what the software is trying to predict, now you know how long to hold on to your trades for, right? Very important to understand that you will still have losing alerts every single day. That is a part of trading. And you still have a responsibility of knowing your lot size, knowing when to cut your losses, knowing when to stop trading when you're in a reasonable profit for the day, right? There's other things that you still need to focus on. But I feel like if someone can't make money with the new version of the software, they're just not made for trading. This is a good explanation here of the counter trend, the reversal alert, and the continuation of trend alert. Right. So again, counter trend, this is an alert generated on a pullback of a trend. Okay. This is an alert that can also trigger the earliest stages of a new trend, but should be traded with caution. That's why they're so powerful. Those blue alerts on the charts, those are actually counter trend alerts, right? They're calling the earliest stages of a reversal, but that's before all the confirmations are in place of a reversal. So they are still in the phase of counter trend. An actual reversal alert is an alert generated after price is rejected and fails to make a new low or new high within the current trend, causing a change of character. Now, we haven't really taught a lot on change of character. I'm sure some of you traders out there, you know all about break of structure and change of character. Those are two very powerful ideologies to trade with. Our software works hand in hand with that, really powerful stuff. This is the strongest alert and can be a confirmation of a new trend direction, which is officially a reversal point. And then you have finally your continuation of trend alert. This is an alert generated after price has already experienced a pullback from the current trend and then begins to head back towards the trend direction in hopes of making a new high or new low for the current trend. This is a medium strength alert and should be traded with caution. How many of you guys are excited about all of this, huh? Isn't this is so powerful, so powerful. You're going to have confidence. If you're a distributor, if you're a builder, you're going to have confidence on introducing people to the program because you're going to have confidence in their ability to learn how to build a relationship with the software and learn how to profit using it, right? Really, really good stuff. Now, here's a new huge update about the new stacked alerts. We have been promoting since day one that you can use the alert software with any instrument on any time frame. That is still the case. However, we are going to be focusing on these 5 charts right here, these 5 charts. Now, if someone chooses to use the software and load it on an instrument outside of these charts that we're showing here, again, we can't control people, but just understand that if you do that, you're trading outside of any data and outside of any testing that we've done. We've done months and months of testing every single day on these 5 charts because of this new version. Those of you with experience in trading, you'll recognize that these 5 charts are known as the 5 most volatile, fastest moving instruments in the world, right? Once you get into GBP pairs, those pip counts are really fast. We tried creating something for the whole world because remember the first trading session that opens up. Does anyone know between we have New York, we have London, we have Asia, which also includes Australia. Does anyone know what the first trading session is every single day? What's the first trading session? There's 3 trading sessions. Asia, correct. Keith, you got it. Yes. Leroy, Lita, correct. So some people do also combine it with Sydney. That would also be technically correct, but predominantly it's just referred to as the Asia session. You'll see it kick off at 6 p.m. Eastern. And so in the Asia session, there's lots of movement with the AUD pairs, the Australian dollar pairs, and the Japanese yen pairs, combined with the high pip value and the volatility of GBP, the Great British Pound. There's lots of opportunity for huge, massive swings. This software was designed for massive swings. And why did we do that? Because we listened to you. People were like, man, there's massive moves on the chart and I'm not getting alerts, right? We could tell what people want. People want those big, fast moves that give you exciting amounts of profit really fast, where you also have to use caution and make sure you're using a stop loss, right? Because with every crazy volatile pair also comes equal amounts of danger. But if you know how to trade, then obviously these could be the most profitable instruments to trade with. That's why I would say most traders out there, most manual traders probably fall within the categories of these 5 charts, right? And there's people who like other trendier, slower moving, more consistent pairs like Euro USD or USD JPY, right? But that's not what these softwares were designed for. In fact, I've loaded the software on some of the trendy pairs and they're not that accurate. The current version is amazing. The current alert software that you already have in your hands, that's why it does so well on instruments like Euro USD or USD JPY or even gold. You know, gold is interesting because gold has its really trendy moments and then it also has high volatility, right? So gold works on both versions of the software. So what are the time frames that we've been testing this on? So with indices, we have US 30 and the NAS 100. That's the 1 minute chart. Okay, we have not tested it on 5 minute, 15 minute. Again, you could do that, but you may be wasting your time. And at the end of the day, trading is about making money, right? We don't do this for charity. We don't do this just for fun. We're here to make money. So we tried designing a program that has a proven, substantiated result track record to help you make money. Okay, and that's going to be with US 30 M1, NAS 100 M1. Then for everyone around Asia, Australia, London, GBP AUD, GBP JPY, earlier parts of New York, you could still get some really good movements. I would say probably up until about 11:30 Eastern, 11:30 in the morning Eastern is when you'll see the volume die down significantly on GA and GJ on these 2 pairs, right? But it gives plenty of opportunity for everyone around the world. And then of course, practically 24 hours a day, you see some really solid movements on all trading sessions with gold. And that's on M5. So we have M1 on indices with US 30 and NAS. We have the 5 minute chart that we've tested on GA and GJ right here. And then we also have the M5 on gold, which is what we've always promoted. So again, we're going to, when you see those highlight videos, those clips that we make showing which types of alerts came out on the charts, you're only going to see videos on these 5 charts because that's what we're going to focus on. Okay. And that's again, in an effort to simplify, because at the end of the day, we're never going to be able to fully test every instrument, every time frame. There's too many instruments across too many time frames. There's too many variables and combinations. It would take multiple lifetimes to really, really test every single thing. And what we've noticed is some of our new traders, they get stuck going down these rabbit trails where they're using the alert software on some random chart and some random time frame that we've never talked about, we've never promoted, and then they start asking questions on the accuracy of the alerts. And you remember, you can't go into uncharted territory and expect to get optimal results, right? That's like finding a needle in a haystack. And so our encouragement to you is to just stick with what's proven, stick with what's working. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel. Keep it simple. Okay, there's plenty of liquidity in these markets here on these 5 charts within these 5 time frames to make plenty of profits. All right. So what are we looking forward to with the new stacked alerts? Number 1, these were designed for bigger moves. Okay, so that's an increased RR potential, risk to reward. You should be able to pull off more than a $10 win on US 30. Okay, there's actually opportunity for huge 60, 70, $100 moves, 110, 130, $200 moves on US 30, almost on the daily. Almost on the daily, we're seeing alerts that are calling the high or the low of the day and calling those reversal points. I mean, it's just amazing what we've been seeing. We also have a higher level of accuracy now with high probability trade setups. We're giving more breathing room before calling our alerts. And what we've tried to do, again, it's impossible to predict the very next color of the candle. But what we've tried to do is to connect the entry point to where there's a high probability of follow through on that alert. So that means if you get a buy alert, we tried optimizing the buy alerts to where the next candle is also green. You're always going to get green and red and red and green, right? It's always going to be bouncing up and down constantly. It never just goes in one direction. But we really worked hard on at least trying to give the next candle high probability that's in favor of the alert so that you can quickly go to break even and have a risk-free trade. It also reduces the levels of stress that a new trader has. Because if you get into a buy alert and then the very next candle's red, which oftentimes that's how it goes, you're going to get some retests, right? That's how trading is. But it induces stress in the trader, especially in a new person. And then they start making wrong decisions or they get shaken out of a trade that they shouldn't have been shaken out of. You could tell we put a lot of thought into every little detail of this new software. There's more responsive interpretation of market shifts happening in real time. Again, I'll go to the charts and I'll show you what I'm talking about. And then you have multiple trade entries on every instrument from one software interface, right? So there may be times where you are hedged. That means there may be a time where you get a sell and then 5 minutes later you get a buy, and you may be in both of them. You may take the sell and then you also may take the buy and see which one works out in your favor to hedge. Or maybe you go from the sell and then 5 minutes later you're in profit, you get a buy, you close the sell, you jump into the buy, right? And it's like ping pong, buy, sell, buy, sell. And there will be days where you will be able to literally do that. And you'll see that on the charts. It just goes from buy, write it up, gives you a sell, write it down. Gives you a buy, write it up, boom, gives you a sell, write it down. I mean, we tried getting this to be as hyper as possible without over trading, right? You never ever want to force a trade. You never want to over trade. But again, we definitely wanted to increase the activity on the chart so that you can dedicate lower amounts of time to achieve your daily goal. That was the purpose of that. That's why we sped things up to try and trigger more alerts at different points on the chart so that instead of waiting, 3 or 4 hours for one alert, you may get 5 alerts in 1 hour. And that may allow you to achieve your daily goal if you didn't already achieve it from the market open call, right? So these are all the benefits of the new software. Again, this is a revolution. We love the current alert software system. We love it. But we're blown away now. Now it's like a new paradigm. It's a new dimension. It's more designed for really a new trader, relatively speaking. With the feedback you guys have given us, we're so thankful that you've given us a lot of feedback because we listen and we put our dollars where our mouth is and we implement these changes and these enhancements to the charts to make it easier for you. All right, so here's what you have to look forward to before moving on here on the call, because there's lots more that happened in Miami. This was a big part of the unveiling here, though. But here's what you're going to look forward to. We're going to start doing weekly basic training calls. Okay, we're going to have a basic 1 class and a basic 2 class, right, within the Longevity Trading Academy. Now, the reason it's critical that we start this probably as early as this very, very next week is because now that some of you have been with us for several months, some of you are a little bit more advanced, but then we still have people that just joined, for example, today, right? We have new members joining every single day. So the question is when someone joins today, what are the best calls for them to plug into? We don't expect the person who referred them to become their trainer on how to get started on MT4, right? We've been working hard to build resources in the back office through the Trading Academy. Also inside the Max Indicator section, there's lots of videos about all the features and functionalities of MT4, but we need to have a class that people can plug into every single week. If you're new, you attend basic training live. Of course, we're going to record those and make those available for people who are not available at that time, but we're going to go over basics like what's a candle, how to get into a trade, how to set your stop loss, how to open your MT4 terminal, right? All of those basics so that if you refer someone, you just plug them in, right? And there's so much to learn when you're brand new that we have basic 1 and basic 2. So be on the lookout for the schedule of the new basic training classes. We're also going to be doing weekly live alert trading sessions every single week now. I'm going to be honest with you. We haven't had the time. This is something that we've already wanted to do because we're excited to get in there and to trade with you so that you can take the same exact alerts as us and you can see how we manage our trades to be profitable. But the launch was overwhelming. And that's just how it goes with a new launch. There's so many other things that are more urgent that you have to look at, like your API servers and the merchant accounts and the orders and the delivery of the license and all these other things, right? That the bandwidth was stretched on our ability to also implement live alert trading sessions. But we are going to be starting that immediately upon the release of the new software. There's also going to be some additional software enhancements that we haven't even talked about. Even if you were in Miami, we didn't talk about this because there wasn't enough time. But you're going to really like some of the new features that we're adding. For example, we're going to be changing the color of the confirmation candle. The actual candle that's connected to the alert will be a different color. It won't just be a standard red or green, so that you can instantly look at which candle that was. If you arrive a couple minutes late, you don't have to sit there and try to figure out if there's a bunch of small candles all bunched up next to each other. You're trying to figure out which one is connected to the alert. It'll stand out because it'll be a different color. Because of all of the new alerts, we have the continuation alerts and the counter trend alerts and the reversal alerts. And there's actually more happening behind the scenes than just that. But our team is amazingly ridiculous based on demand from you guys. You'll be able to turn certain alerts on or off. Okay, so that means if you have a bias towards a higher time frame trend, you're like, look, I believe that US 30 is bullish. I only want to see continuation of trend alerts, right? Because a lot of manual traders, what they do is they use higher time frames as confluence and confirmation on where the trend is going, but then they go to a lower time frame to find a more accurate entry point. That's where these alerts are super powerful. You could use them in confluence like that. So if you want to turn, for example, you only want to get into longs, you only want to get into buys, you'll be able to turn the sells off, right? The counter trend alerts or the reversal alerts as well. We're also going to be doing public trading recognition calls. Instead of just interviewing people once in a while on the market open call, we're going to be doing trading recognition calls because we know there will be so many people crushing it and making money, compounding their accounts. This is going to change people's lives. And we want to tell the world about it. And the trading recognition is going to need its own space because it's going to be that big. It's going to be that in tuned. So with that being said, the last thing I'm going to do before passing on the call here to our next speaker is I'm just going to take you right to the charts. Okay, so this has been running all day, just so you know. Okay, it's been running all day. And so all of these alerts are their real-time alerts. Okay, so this is US 30 here. This is the M1. And you could see that sell alert. Again, that's where it came in at. You could see how the market reacted after that. You could see that buy alert. Again, if you notice that there's some immediate follow through, right? So you could see this is the entry point, right? This is the candle right here connected to that sell alert. The very next candle was also red to minimize your stress so that you can have some follow through right away and not jump into stress right upon getting into that trade, so that you can collect your thoughts and see how you want to manage that trade. Obviously, your stop loss should be above the last swing high. There would have been no reason to close that trade. You could have even used the entry candle itself as a stop loss if you want to have a smaller setup. Again, even with that smaller setup, there would have been no reason to close that trade. That was a massive gain. You could see with this buy alert here. So this is a counter trend alert. So the software is telling you that we are in a bearish trend, but this could have been an ideal time to hop into a buy, right? So you could see getting in here that the next candle was in fact green. You would have had a chance to move to break even. If you're real finicky, if you're real sensitive to, that's why you also want to trade these with caution. But I'm going to show you why they're also very powerful, okay? Because they're the earliest stages of reversals, right? But they're not actual reversal alerts. So now here's what's super cool. Watch this. You can't tell because they're not labeled and colored yet. This here is a continuation alert. Okay, a continuation alert, right? This here is a larger pullback continuation alert. So you won't even know the difference, right? And I spoke about this to Mr. Ryan Dr. Check about, we don't want to have too many different labels and too many different colors. Just know that what I've shown you, there's a lot more than that happening behind the scenes. So you'll see both of these as continuation of trend alerts, but they're actually being measured completely different. They actually each have their own engine running to call those out, because what happens, the reason why we work so hard to call these out is because sometimes you get into an excellent position, right? And we know that there's high probability that the market can move down, but the market needed a little bit more time before making the bigger move. So you could see that it made one last push slightly up. What is that for? It's a race to the top before the drop, right? The market was designed to wipe out the stop losses right here so that the traders in this position are the king of the mountain. They get first movers advantage on the actual drop of the market. And we're going to call those sells out as well, so that if you miss or lose the first opportunity, you'll make up for it on the next opportunity, right? So I'm going to continue to move backwards here. Look at that. Just a beautiful sell alert here. Here's another one. Here's what's interesting is that, let me zoom out a little bit here, right? You could see, for example, amazing alert, amazing alert. Well, guess what? You may not even need to get into those alerts. Why? Because when you learn how to hold on to your trades, you may still be in this alert. And you're like, well, that kind of, came up, that might have taken out a stop loss. Well, you also may be in this sell alert though, right? Which never hit a stop loss. It got close to retesting, but again, it never hit a stop loss. And that's what I want to see. I want to see people, that have the guts to get into, when you get your very first reversal alert, or you get in your very first continuation alert, to have the guts to hold on, right? And let the market play out. Okay. So check this out. Let me show you how this lines up. So this right here is the first counter trend sell alert. Okay. Why is that? If I go further to the left, you'll see that we were probably a little bit more. So the market was ranging. We must have been coming off. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you can see overall, let me zoom out here because this gets, this is some really cool analysis here. So you could see overall, this was the end of this massive US 30 bull market trend, right? That it was still pushing up, and then it started to range and it started to lose some steam. Okay. And then so you see when we zoom in here, you got a counter trend alert. Okay, now prior to the counter trend there, this was on a bullish up hike. You actually got a sell reversal alert. Right now, I know what these are, but you don't because they're not labeled. But just by looking at price action, I know what alert is doing what and why it's calling that. Right, so you'll have labels and colors for all that, but this is a reversal alert. This is a continuation alert. This is a counter trend alert. This is a counter trend alert. This is a reversal alert. This is a continuation alert. right? Sell continuation. It's so powerful, right? So you'll have all the labels on your chart so that you'll be able to identify that so that you know how long to hold on to these. But these, again, these are real-time alerts. They're very powerful. You will still see losing alerts just because that's how trading is. You'll also lose just because you get scared, right? You're gonna lose even when there's no reason to lose because that's how trading goes, right? It goes, what are you seeing on your charts versus how are you reacting to that, right? So I'm gonna move on to NAS. This is NAS here on this broker. It's called NDX 100. Okay, you can see here, look, we have a losing alert right here. See that? There's a sell alert popped in there, right? And look what happened. It lost immediately. The software identified a second chance. So beautiful, right? I love that. This is a second chance alert. This is a larger pullback continuation of trend, re-triggering to get you back into that trade so that you don't cut yourself short. That's beautiful, okay? Moving over here, you can see we have a continuation alert here. That would have taken some diamond hands, but you could have pulled it off. You have a counter trend alert here that had plenty of opportunity for profit. Again, you'll see that on most of the alerts, the sequential candle is in the same color of the alert. Counter trend alert, use caution. Look at that. That would have been a loser right there. Okay, this one got retested here for my cost average traders. This would have been a gold mine, or you could have cashed out here. Counter trend alert. Software is identifying a potential change in trend direction here. So I could show you this all day, right? But again, these are actual alerts where they came in today. Look at that counter trend alert, right? That's why sometimes the counter trends are super powerful. This is a sell counter trend. Look at how beautiful that sell is. This is a buy counter trend. Look at how beautiful that is, right? Those will end up being the most powerful alerts on your screen, but they're the ones that you have to use the most amount of caution because sometimes it could be a little bit premature. Trading is all about a balance, right? You don't want to be too sensitive to where you're getting in too early because you'll take a lot of losses. You also don't want to be too laxed and too late because you'll miss a lot of moves, right? So it's always about based on the current range of movement within the prices, finding the most optimal entry points. All right, let's move on to gold. Okay, these are actual alerts here. On gold, I see nothing but 3 winners here, right? Counter trend, nice sell alert here. Buy continuation. I actually have a couple charts running for gold. Now, if you see arrows, let me explain that real quick. Okay, and I'm trying to be detailed because we need to train you on this stuff. So I hope you're enjoying this. If you see arrows like this, okay, an arrow is an actual alert, but it didn't meet all of our rules. So that means they have higher risk, but they can still be rewarding. And we're going to have those. We're going to leave those on the charts because for those that have a higher risk appetite and they're a little bit more aggressive and they want to quickly compound their accounts and finish their goal for the day, we'll show you how to trade the arrows. But an arrow, as those of you know, an arrow usually signifies an impending alert that hasn't confirmed yet. These arrows are a little bit different. Okay, they're actually alerts in the direction that they're pointed in, but they didn't meet all of our rules. Some of you will actually have success trading the arrows. Let's go into our Forex pairs, right? So what did we look at? US 30, NAS, gold. What's left? GJ and GA, all right? So we're going to look at GBP, JPY. These are real-time alerts. You could see where they're being called. Let me zoom in a little bit. How many of you are excited to have these on your charts, right? What are you going to be able to do with them? That's the question. That was a beautiful alert. I remember watching that come in and it was just like, yes. Even this buy alert, this is a buy reversal alert. That's what that is. So that would be normally the color green. Look at how powerful this is. It called it where you had this massive bearish trend happening. And then it said this level here is the reversal level. Boom. It came up from there. It actually came to retest, bounced up again with a double bottom, and then shot up, right? So we're going to teach you how to trade those reversal alerts because we're not going to get caught up on a candle, right? It's actually showing you an actual reversal level of price. And what happened on the chart? It reversed. Wow, that's super powerful, right? So check this out. We get some This is actually a sell reversal alert. That's what that is. So we had a buy reversal. The market's like, nope, sell reversal. And then we had four continuation sell alerts. Here's the first continuation, second continuation. The third was an absolute banger sell continuation alert. Such a powerful alert there, popped up in real time. And then that was the fourth continuation. Now remember, you get a bunch of continuation alerts, right? That means there's a really strong sell trend. Be cautious the more you get, because remember, trends don't last forever. Okay, so they're great entry points, but you want to be careful. If you get 5, 6, 7 continuation alerts, you start using more and more caution. Remember, that's how you have insight on how to trade these alerts, because you're like, okay, I can look backwards and see how many of these alerts I've gotten and where I'm at in the current trend. Remember, it's a quad engine processing. So what is the software telling you? It's saying, hey, we're getting some counter trend opportunities. Notice it's not a coincidence that after you get several continuation alerts, notice that there were no counter trend alerts in the sequence. But then all of a sudden, you get this continuation followed by 2 counter trend alerts. What is that telling you? That's telling you that the software is starting to recognize that this really powerful trend is starting to become exhausted. And that's when you'll start seeing counter trend alerts pop up, which are the earliest stages of a major reversal, right? How powerful is that? All right, moving on. This is the other GJ chart. I actually have a couple different settings running, but the alerts are very similar. We're just at a point where we're fine-tuning the systems to make sure that it's perfectly dialed in so that we can get these released. Now, this right here is GBP AUD. This is the last instrument I'm going to show you right here. Again, these are real-time alerts. If you would have taken every single alert, you would have had opportunity to crush it. Okay, these are real. And I guarantee you we're still going to have people that lose, right? And just because trading, it's simple, but it's not easy, because your emotions, simply put, they're not easy, right? So you could see these are, again, all real-time alerts. Nice buy, finally found some ultimate support to shoot up. This is actually a sell reversal alert is what it is, right? So it's saying that we're coming off of a bull channel and that market's looking to reverse at this price level right here. You could see that we had a nice bounce down. This is a buy continuation. So now look at that. We got conflict happening because you have a sell reversal followed by a buy continuation. So the software is identifying sequentially. It's saying, look, we got confirmation that the market wants to reverse now, but there could still be some steam left from the bulls to try and continue the trend going upwards. What happened? They both happened, right? Strong push down. You had a last bit effort of continuing up before what? A massive drop, right? And then that was actually the reversal level of price. I'm just moving my menus out of the way here. So you could see right here, that's not a very straight line, but let me see. Let me grab a straight line. Okay, so that's very close to an actual reversal zone on where that sell reversal called. If your stop loss was above the last swing high, give or take, right? You shouldn't have been stopped out on that reversal alert. Maybe you were. I don't know. I can't control you. I'm just showing you what the software is doing and where prices are actually moving at. This was a continuation. All of a sudden, boom, what do you get? Counter trend, followed by continuation. They both would have won, right? So I'm going to stop there. Let me know in the chat if you're excited to get your hands on this bad boy.